Thanks a lot also for everyone for joining in with it being, Maundy Thursday and all. I know some people weren't able to make it because of services. Just so you all know, and anyone else that wants to get the info for afterwards, we are going to, I have this recording right now. So I'll get it posted and I'll put a link to it on the website. So anyone who missed it or someone who's interested that wants to get the info later, we'll have it on there for them. But we'll go ahead and get started now. So here we are, just the agenda, what we're going to talk about. Not going to be too long a meeting. I got about 20 slides. But I want to talk about, why Saints football, what we're all about, why choose Fox Valley Saints for your player, important dates, some volunteer opportunities as the season gets going, summer opportunities, things with Xavier, summer camps, summer workouts for both Xavier and FVL at the high schools, and then a 7-on-7 league that I'm hoping that we can get involved in this summer with the AYFA teams. Is Nick Somm, is Nick, are you on? Okay, yes. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get, oh yeah, there he is. All right, so I'll ask you to talk a little bit. Thanks for dialing in, Nick.
You bet.
So then we'll have a chance to meet the coaches. I'll show you a little bit about the website, walk you through it, registration, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end. So why Fox Valley Saints? Well, first of all, it was a necessity. As of January of this year, Fox Valley Pop Warner decided not to support 6th and 7th grade, as you probably all know, and that's why you're part of why you're here anyway. Didn't have numbers enough that we were aware of yet for Lutheran or Catholic schools to support independent teams. Funding being kind of complicated with multiple schools involved, what we decided in a number of meetings, including Coach Yeager and Coach Hinkins, the high school and middle school administration, that we needed to have a self-sustaining, self-run team, sort of like a club, but we're not going to call it a club. We are a school-affiliated team. It includes 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to greatly improve our continuity through the middle school and into the high school level for our FVL and Xavier-bound players. An advantage also of combining these teams into a co-op like we've done for a number of years at the 8th grade level is that we don't need to combine 6th and 7th grade as was done in Pop Warner. Again, it was out of necessity, but I think it was a detriment to the experience of our, especially 6th grade players who were maybe new to the sport, playing against bigger and more experienced 7th grade players. So we'll even the playing field with this, and I'm really excited that we're going to be able to do that. So before I get in here, I want to just say thank you. This was a long experiment, a long process. I started back in November, December, talking with AYFA President Nick Somm, who we all just met, who've been extremely helpful with me in organizing and putting these things together. Mr. Byers, the principal at Xavier Middle School, Coach Yeager and Hinkins for their support, along with Kathy Bates at the high school, Dr. Ravisa, and Mike Mothy, Bob Beeble, and the coaches here who've been really helpful, and others. But most important, you, the parents. I want to say thanks to everyone who's dialed in here today and everyone who's making the commitment to have their kids, their sons and daughters be part of this team, because it doesn't, all this work, all this putting together doesn't mean anything without you and without your players. So thank you everyone for joining in today. So I'm just going to read through these first few slides. I think it's important. I want you all to know what we're all about. The coaching philosophy of the Saints, this is going to be, we hope to make this different. We want to make this special. This isn't going to be just a regular, just a football team that we're joining to get you out on the field and all about winning. This is about a philosophy, and I know a philosophy that is shared with the coaches at both FVL and Xavier High Schools. So Saints coaches are dedicated to promoting the core values of the organization and will coach with these values in mind for today's players and for the future of football in Christian schools of the Fox Valley.
Your audio.
Number one, and if everyone could just put on mute so we don't have too much interference. Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Good, and you?
All right, thanks. Number one, honor God. And this is something that I will give credit to Coach Andy Strand for. This is something I think is a really important number one goal of everything we do. But what does that mean? It means being an example of Christian values at all times. Practice, games, off the field, just as important as on the field. Respect for coaches, officials, parents, and all fellow players. Maximizing your God-given abilities and becoming the best that you can be. That's all a part of honoring God and something that we as coaches are dedicated to bringing out in your players, and something that I know that we're going to do for them. Number two goal is building positive memories, friendships, and foundations that will last a lifetime. Number three, helping players develop football skills using the latest and safest techniques and equipment. And number four, building player confidence through a culture of positivity and making football fun. That's what this needs to be about at this level. We are middle school football. We are not out here to win the Super Bowl. Is winning fun? Yes. Is it number one goal? Absolutely not. The goal is to make your kids love football, make them want to come out next year, make them want to get better, because if they don't want to get better, if they didn't have fun, they're not going to want to come out, and they're not going to work in the off season either. We want this to be a great experience, whether they're going to be high school football players or not. So, those are our top four goals. And then, winning, it's the product of having achieved the above core values. It's only meaningful if we've done those things for your players, and that's why I don't even have it as one of our top five goals. But I want you to be aware that this is what we're all about. We also have a mission statement. This is just, I'll read through this as well. I think this is important for us to keep in the back of our minds, as all mission statements are. That's something we talk about on a daily basis. That's something we always have to remember when we're doing it. Fox Valley Saints football is dedicated to providing a football experience surpassing that of any prior football program in the Fox Valley Christian schools. We are an independently funded nonprofit organization affiliated with Xavier and Fox Valley Lutheran School Systems that offers an instructional football program for youth 6th to 8th grade. Saints organization exists to ensure the future of football in Christian schools in the Fox Valley, and to be eligible players must be interested or planning on attending one of the two affiliated high schools. And this is kind of in line with how the AYFA works, as Coach Saum will tell you about. The team that you will be playing with is more the team that you're planning to go to high school with, and so this is sort of a feeder type program, but a good experience that way. So Fox Valley Saints football will teach our middle school football students safe and proper techniques of football, and an environment of positivity and reinforcement. We are committed to teaching the skills and strategies of the game in accordance with USA Football's Heads Up program. Heads Up tackling and blocking has been continually proven to make the game safer and better for all participants and is endorsed nationally by all levels of football. We strive to provide opportunities for all participants to develop individual football skills and abilities while being a contributing member of the team. Fox Valley Saints football is dedicated to teaching Christian values, teamwork, and building friendships, memories, and foundations that will last a lifetime. And that last sentence is really what sums it all up for me. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. And we're going to get every player in the games. We're going to have equitable playing time for everyone, so that everyone gets to develop, have fun, and meaningful experiences, and build those memories that make them love the game of football. So why choose Saints football for your player? This is the outline. We'll go through each one of these. But the number one is getting together basically with players that they're going to play with in high school. A consistent and cohesive developmental program with grades 6 to 12 aligned with their high school. We're going to be working together, playing with the team, the players that you're going to be competing against in high school, which is going to be a ton of fun for them to play with these guys for 3 years and then play against them for 4 more years. I think it would be a really neat experience, and one that we've already seen in our 8th graders who have gone through this. 100% commitment to Heads Up Football. We'll talk about that. Joining a competitive league with good variety within the league. We will have an 8-game schedule, which is going to be different than the Pop Warner schedule, which was 6 games. So a little extra football for them. Consistent game times for 8th grade, and opportunity to travel throughout Wisconsin for 4 of those games. Well, Northeast Wisconsin, not too far. So what is Heads Up Football? I think most people who've had a player who's been through a football program is familiar with this. All of our coaches are familiar with this. I know everyone who has coached with us in the past is all Heads Up certified. That is something that we will commit to all of our coaches being certified every year. Our new and recertifying coaches will go through this course. It's a comprehensive collection of resources and programs, promotions to change and address the complex challenges of player health and safety in youth and high school football. So what does that mean? Teaching the techniques of not just tackling, but blocking, and basically every aspect of the game, making it as safe as possible. And I wanna ask Coach Saum to just say a little something about this. I know there's some data that's been collected about safety in middle school football, and in my experience, it's been that head injuries are not nearly as much of an issue in our programs, especially in the middle school level, as other sports that you might not have heard such things. Nick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Great. Thanks, Peter. I've been involved with Heads Up since I actually helped start the program with Pop Warner back in the day. And what we've seen is a strong drop-off of head injuries. And since we started the AYFA, we tracked it very closely and tried to compare it to other clubs, club sports, such as basketball and soccer and hockey. And what we found was that football pales in comparison to the head injuries. And, you know, collectively, that's a lot of reasons. It's good coaching, it's good equipment, and it is really a philosophy change on how we play the game. And we're starting to see that trickle up. I think Paul Engen said it very well quite a ways back when the USA stuff came out. And he said, the reality is when you're talking about safety and style of play, is it actually trickles up. And so the last ones you see with the changes is in the NFL. And I think this movement has been kind of on a level change because the NFL saw what was coming a number of years ago, and then you heard the change at the highest level with the Hawk Tackle and the Seattle Seahawks, which have done a tremendous job in helping USA Heads Up Football. But they're the ones that have kind of created this groundwork for the change, and they keep changing every year and adding something new and something better. And what you're hearing now is the way Coach Hankins and I, back in the day, when we first were teaching how to make a good form tackle, now we cringe when you hear it. The old school commentators on NFL games, they'll say, "Oh, that was a terrific tackle, and the head was involved," and we just don't teach it that way. And the youth weren't teaching it that way, and so it trickles up. Now the high school, they're not teaching it that way, and then in the college now they're actually preventing these hits with the crown hits. We never really talked much about the crown other than we all read the back of the helmets back in the day, and we had to read do not butt, ram, or spear. We went through all that, and but we didn't technique-wise really get into the meat and potatoes of changing the fundamentals. And USA Football's done a tremendous job, and we find that we've had, in our 4 years of existence with the AYFA, we've had a total amount of head injuries that equal about the first month of club basketball. And so 4 years of head injuries versus 1 month is about the equivalent. And so we have made those changes. A lot of it is style change, but it's also equipment. The equipment is so much better within the last 5 years. And so, you know, that's what we're seeing. Football really ranks about 4th or 5th now as far as head injuries as compared to other youth programs from the high school level down.
Thanks a lot. That's really powerful numbers. The data on that is something else, and it's not just numbers, but it's what I've seen in person. And this is the kind of tackling what you were talking about, Coach, is what we've taught since, well, we coached together back when our kids in the 5th grade, 4th grade. And what I know that Coach Yeager and Coach Hinkins are teaching at the high school level is we're not getting our head in front anymore. We're doing a roll tackle technique. It's a better tackle. It's a more efficient tackle, and it's a much safer tackle as well. Gets the head out of the play, and it's what we're teaching at all levels, and it's made a huge difference. In addition to the different techniques that we were teaching. So thanks a lot, Coach, for your input on that. So a little bit about the conference. This is the Great Lakes Independent Football Conference, and this is what we will be joining. You can see us here on the right side. The teams range from Menominee to Fond du Lac to Sheboygan. We're not necessarily going to be traveling to all those places in every year, but you will be playing 8 games, so seven teams. And I believe, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be structured. The schedule comes out in May. Coach, do you have, is it going to be 2 conferences? Are they going to be split? I know we have plans to have, the way that the games are scheduled is scheduling for parity so that we have, not a real, a team that is kind of down for, in terms of numbers versus a team that's, a club team that's really top notch. We're going to make sure that our pairings are, I'll let you talk, Coach.
Yeah, so the conference is, it's not like your high school conference where, it's the same every year, it's the same exact scenario. We're very cognizant as directors. It's very important that we give very good information. 45-0 doesn't do anything for either side. And we know that, and we really try to prevent that. As far as a north and a south, the conference traditionally had a north and a south, but we've had some changes in the Green Bay schools. Their numbers are down in some of those clubs. And so every year we kind of have to react a little bit. And the bottom line is just figuring out how to get 8 games, competitive games. We do want to try to keep the proximity part of it as very relevant, so we're not traveling too much. We would start with a non-divisional conference game or 2, depending on what the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teams look like. For numbers, and then we would try to get into what we're proposing here is the South Division, and so if you played a game in Manitowoc or a game up in Green Bay, then we'd be playing primarily the right side or the south side schedule to finish out the season.
Okay, thanks. So I think a great conference, a really good levels of competition, different levels of competition that I think will be, really good experience for our players. So enhanced game day experience. This is going to be something that's going to be a step up from what we've had in the past. Thanks to both FVL and Xavier High Schools, we are going to play two or four home games at each of the high school fields. And that'll be a really neat experience for the middle schoolers to get out there. Where the away games will all be at the high school affiliated fields as well. So our players will be playing on the turf fields of Appleton North or West or East and, Hortonville, all those. So it's going to be kind of a big experience for these kids, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We got some new uniforms lined up thanks to Coach Tony Apple. He's designed these. These are a prototype. We don't have the finals out, but they're going to look somewhat like this. We have top-of-the-line helmets that we're going to be supplying all the kids with, the safest helmets out there and available for youth football. We plan to have more going on at the games. It's going to be around noon, kind of middays when the games are going to be, and I'll go through that. We'll have the grill going. We'll have some music going. We'll have some announcing. It's going to be a big time for every game. We'll make those kids feel special, and they really are at these games. And we're going to integrate the high school players with our games as well. Just be out there in their uniforms. The kids will see those uniforms, those players that they're looking up to. I'm hoping that we can also get our players out to their games as well. And details will come on that. And I'm working with Coach Hinkins and Coach Yeager on planning for that. But I think that'll be a really cool experience for them as well. So the game day experience, again, middays when the games are going to be, they're all going to be at the same time. They're going to be Saturdays. Your team will play every Saturday at 10:30, 12, or 1:30. They're going to be at the same time, whether we're home or away. We'll have that full schedule available, but you don't even have to know the schedule. Just know that we don't play on Labor Day weekend, so we can be with family. But I'll go through the rest of the schedule in just a minute. I do want to talk about, I think I got the slides out of order here, but I want to talk about registration. We were able to thankfully get the cost down to what I think is a very reasonable cost for registration. Compare this to baseball or basketball programs that are basically club programs through the schools or through Xavier. I don't have FDLs, but they're $250, and that's before your cost of uniform purchases and all your travel and everything. This is all inclusive. We're able to do this through our sponsors, who I'm going to give mention to in a few minutes. A pledge from the Friends of Foxes through FDL, and their pledge to help us out with finances. Xavier School System, who is letting us use the field at no charge, and including us under their insurance umbrella. Fundraisers that we'll be talking about in just a minute. That will be very easy and streamlined if that's the route that you choose to go, to save on some costs there. We'll talk about registration in a little bit, but I do want to just make note that the checks will be payable to Xavier Catholic Schools. In the memo, you'll have Fox Valley Saints football. I just want everyone to be aware that we are a self-funded team. Your checks are not going to Xavier Catholic Schools. Your checks are going to the Saints football. Xavier is managing our finances. I don't want you to send personal checks to me. I will be collecting them. But they'll be running our finances, running our purchase orders, and all of our expenses. But it will be run through the finance office, and thanks to Xavier for doing that for us. It's a big help to streamline things. So just so you're all aware, we're not doing this to make money for any school system or another. This is purely for the team, all for your kids. Okay, important dates. These are all listed. I have them all on the website already. You can feel free to write these down, but they're all going to be out there for you. I just want to run through them so you're all aware that there are some dates upcoming. Early registration, we do have to close by April 19th because I need to have a team together. We need to have numbers that can get us on for scheduling when the schedule is made in early May. May 5th, we have on the calendar at 6:30. We're going to have equipment fitting and measurements, and we're going to have all the players come out to Xavier Middle School. We will have sample equipment for them to try on. We'll do measurements. We're going to have every kid line up, get a card. We're going to write down their measurements so that we can make our equipment orders. Really important that people get out to that, because otherwise we're going to be just guessing at what's going to fit you, and it's really difficult for us to make orders if people aren't there at the equipment fitting. So that's why you'll see, and those of you who have already registered have already seen that I put on the registration that I'd like you to put on your calendars right away, May 5th, for equipment fitting and measurements. May and June, recommend getting your physicals completed. If the annual exam or alternate year falls in June, it works best for the calendar year. So schedule in June if you at all can. I know there may be some difficulty with these. I'm not sure if sports physicals are put off right now because of everything going on, but you know, we'll try to get that done in June. I think that this will be doable by then. The physical forms I have on the website. They're the WIA physical forms, and I'll show you that in just a minute. July 23rd, we're going to have equipment pickup and individual coach and parent meetings at Xavier Middle School. I'll have all the equipment set for every player to pick up. That way you'll have it and we'll be ready to go on August 3rd. That will also be your date to meet and talk with your individual team's coaches, get together with the team and talk about the upcoming season. August 3rd is when practice is going to start. First week, just as in all football, is helmets only. That's conditioning and getting your body ready for football. We're going to be practicing all practices at Xavier Middle School. All three teams will go at the same time. August 10th, we have our first day of full pads. And August 15th, we have the, it's 2020 Wisconsin Gridiron Kickoff Challenge. And Coach, I know I'm asking you to talk a lot here, but this is a really neat experience. This is a really cool thing that you've set up. And I want you to just, if you could, tell us a couple words about that.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if I can back up a little bit, you know, these are pretty, and I'm sure this is on the mind of some of the folks on this Zoom, but we've had to adjust. We're sending a message out today to the entire AYFA that we're not planning to be able to get together in May. And so we're going to have to, you know, and I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think everybody has to work together. This has to be one of those, and, you know, it's unprecedented times. And so as far as equipment measurements and that sort of thing, we may have to think outside of the box if we are not allowed to have that closeness, and we'll give recommendations from our end. We'll figure this out. The bottom line is this: is if we're allowed to have football in August, we will be prepared best we can, and we will do it. And we have faith we will. And making sure that you guys are set up equipment wise and that sort of thing. Again, this is all new. And so, in moving forward, I'm sure the coaches on this, I mean, we're all in this together, and they can weigh in on that as well. But as far as May, we're not planning to get together with our players in teams at all in May at this point.
That's a good point, Coach. I'll you know what, I will, you know, I was put this meeting together a while back, and
sure.
You know, we will get a date out, and I'll show you all how I'm going to get in touch with you. But we will have to. You're right. We're going to have to, almost certainly, that's going to have to be changed. But we will do something. Okay. So
and then just to tell you a little bit about the gridiron, it's something we thought up of a few years ago. It's nothing more than a scrimmage. We wear our Guardian caps. We wear our scrimmage or practice jerseys. It's not game. It is literally every kid plays, every kid gets opportunities. It's not about winning and losing. It's all about just scrimmaging. You get to scrimmage either 2 or 3 different teams. Essentially, it's 15 plays of offense, 15 plays of defense. And it's a really neat afternoon. USA, Shields USA has gotten a bit, they tripled their prices for us. So we may be having the scrimmage over at East. But other than that, we bring in a whole bunch of teams and you just scrimmage. And it's really helpful to, you know, before your season to start is to, you know, find out who you are and who you're not. But the kids, the feedback has been absolutely amazing.
Great, thank you. Yes, it is a great experience. And I do want to touch on that point. I did mean to talk about that. And again, I just kind of put this together earlier. As far as that date, I'll get back to you on the equipment fitting measurements and everything. And I have every confidence that there will be football this fall. I really do. I don't think, you know, I've been following as much as anyone else or more, obviously, with, you know, with this going on. I've been in touch with our equipment supplier. We're going to have to make some purchases. We're going to make those at the last, you know, the latest possible moment so that we can know when, you know, if there's anything that's changing. But I have no doubt that there will be football. And if something comes up, if there's some issue, we are not going to have you all having paid out and not being able to be refunded. So don't hold off because you're afraid that you're not going to get a refund or anything like that. I will fully refund everyone's money if there is something that comes up. But I have no doubt that we'll be playing football. So thanks for bringing that up, Coach. Then August 22nd, the week after that, we will have our first regular season game. September 4th to the 6th. Again, that's going to be family time. We're not playing football over Labor Day weekend. October 17th is the last game of the season, and we'll turn equipment in right after the game. Also, I want to just put in a little plug. I didn't put any slides in for this, but for those of you who do have students at Xavier Middle School, I will be running a strength and conditioning program. Actually, anyone can be there. Any school that you go to, if you are a member of this team, you'll be welcome to join us and we'll have details of this, but it'll be an after-school program with strength and conditioning in the off-season. Okay, fundraiser. Back to about costs. In an effort to keep the costs low, we partnered with United Fundraising. This is the same program that the AYFA has been working with for years. It's a cookie dough program, a very streamlined program. Makes it very easy for everyone, coaches, players, and parents alike. You just need to sell 20 boxes of pre-made cookie dough and varieties for $18 each. We'll have some incentives, some raffle prizes for people that go above and beyond. For those of you that choose not to participate, there's an opt-out, and some of you have registered or already chosen to do that, and we're totally fine with whatever people decide to do. But we want to make sure that we keep football affordable and accessible to everyone, and this is one way that we can do that. So some volunteer positions, game day volunteers. We got some head coaches, we got some assistant coaches already, but we are going to need some more coaches. We'll talk about that. Game day volunteers, we have 4 home games, so know that you will we'll just be asking you to work for one home game of your player's team, for a game announcer, scoreboard operator, game day manager. We'll talk about that. Basically, you'll just be checking in with me, and I'll tell you what we need to do, and someone just to be our helper, basically, to get things organized when the coaches are busy. Concession workers, someone doing game film and photographer. I've already gotten several volunteers for a handful of these positions. And then we'll also have some other opportunities as they come up. If you didn't volunteer for one of the above, we may ask you to help us out in some way or another. Okay, so our coaches. So in 8th grade, our head coach is Coach Jason Anderson. I'll just introduce him as the coach that coached us last year. He also coached at the middle school level for several years before that, as well as at the college level prior to that for 10 years at, well, Coach, I'll let you talk. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Yep, you're on mute. There you go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason, and I coached last year. I have an 8th grade son this year and a 7th grade son this year at Xavier. Really happy to be a part of the program and help everybody get better at football. So if you have any specific questions afterwards, I'd be happy to answer. But thank you, Peter, for putting this together, and I'm excited to be a part of this whole process.
Thanks, Jason. And then our 6th grade coach, Kevin Rust. Kevin, if you want to say hi. Kevin's been coaching for a while. He's been a part of the Pop Warner program in the administration side of things for a number of years as well. Kevin, are you?
Yeah, I'm on. Got my mic off. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it. Just like Jason had said, if anyone has some questions after this or in between, please feel free to reach out. All the coaches will be accessible, and we look forward to an awesome season this year. And Peter, thanks again, and everyone else that's involved with us for putting the program together.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. And both these guys, I've known them. I've seen them coach. These guys have the players in mind, and these are great coaches that have the right principles for football and for what football at the middle school level is all about. So every level, every trust in the world with these guys. Great coaches. I guess having started this up, I become the de facto president of Saints Football Club. You all have talked to me, and our FEL contact coordinator, Coach Seth Yeager, has been very helpful, and I'll have him say hi in just a few minutes. Really helpful with getting together all the schools on the FEL side, as well as the administration and the Friends of Foxes, and can't say thank you enough to Coach Yeager. And we have some assistant coaches, Tony Apple, who is helping out, and these are most of our coaches here are ones that have helped out in 8th grade, mainly because I know them, and I could put them on here. I know we're going to have plenty of coaches that are going to want to step up in the next handful of days to help out with the other levels. But Coach Tony Apple, Tom Flick, Steve Willison, Eric Olhafen, myself, Coach Kerry Mears, all have helped out with these boys throughout. And so we have a great leadership team that will help out with the 6th and 7th grade coaches and teams. We'll all be practicing at the same time. We're going to be working together, and it's going to be a very fluid dynamic between the 3 teams and the coaches as well, all working together with practice planning and putting things together. And then Coach Tyler Pellott also is going to be helping out at the 6th grade level with Coach Rust. He is coached last year, I believe, with you as well, right, Kevin? Tyler?
That's right, Peter. Yeah. He was assistant coach with me last year with Pop Warner. Did really well with the kids. Was able to communicate with them well. So I'm glad he was able to help assist this year.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a good year.
There he is. Hey, Tyler. Thanks for joining in. So, coaches, we are looking for some coaches. We don't need experience. All we need is for you to have Saints values, a willingness to teach middle school football in an environment of positivity and fun. And like I said, we're going to be working together. So I'm sure we'll have a coach in the 7th grade stepping up in the near future. And we'll get that together. All right, our preliminary practice schedule. I'll hand this off to Coach Anderson, Coach Rust first. The week is going to start. We start August 3rd. I'm planning on Monday to Friday for the 8th grade at least, and we'll go in the evenings. It's a little bit cooler that time, and we'll do that for the first couple of weeks, and then Coach Rust.
Yeah. So in the previous years that I've been coaching, this is very similar to the program that I've run. Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursday. I'm going to be joining Peter in the gym with the weight training prior to practice. But the format is going to be pretty much the same between all the grades, I believe. Really focusing on doing stations, drill work, really focusing on technique, making sure that the kids are doing it properly. We'll practice it over and over, different drills. You're going to see a lot of repetition, But I'm a true believer of doing the repetitions going to ensure that the kids are going to learn how to do those tackles and blocks and so forth properly.
Okay, thanks. And Coach Anderson?
I think for 8th grade, we try to practice at least 4 days, sometimes 5 days a week. As the season goes on, the practice times actually shorten. Number one, because we want to keep players fresh. Number two, we actually run out of daylight as the fall goes on, so there's no need for us to be out there. Practices won't start for everyone until at least 4:30. Usually it's more like 4:45 because we do have half the team coming from the FEL schools. So it takes some time for everybody to get there. So that's one of the reasons that at least in the 8th grade, we do practice every day, but the practices end up only being an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes because we have to get everybody there and then we run out of daylight. It is my goal to be out early enough on Fridays so we can go support our local high school teams, both FVL and Xavier. But we want to make sure that we practice things the right way, and we want to make sure that we allow the boys to be able to practice both an offensive and a defensive position, and that takes time. And so we don't want to shortchange anybody, which is why we tend to do it every day, at least at the 8th grade level. And that's pretty much how it works, at least how we did it last.
Good, thanks, Jason. Yeah, and so again, I want to just clarify. I have 4:30. You're right. It may be more like 4:45. Whenever people are going to get there, practices are going to be over at 6:30. I believe is what you both said. Correct? If you're just not. The weight training and everything, that's going to be primarily just for the Xavier Middle School students because that's where we're at. I want to provide something for them to be doing between the time school ends and time practice starts that's productive and supervised, and we will be very supervised there, and we'll give them a great experience for all the Xavier Middle School players. Okay. Now we have some youth summer programs. This summer, all this is all dependent on how things are going to shake out as far as, everything that's going on right now from a health standpoint. Currently, we do have these football camps on the calendar. A number of the restrictions are planning to be lifted. We're really hoping that things are going to be they're obviously not going to be back to normal by May, but we're hoping that these things are still going to be going on. I have links to all these on the website, and as soon as we could have information about whether there's going to be any changes to this, these will all be you'll all be notified. But these are the current dates that we have for Xavier Youth Football Camp. There are 3 days available. Xavier has a strength and conditioning program that is open to all going into 6th grade, I believe, or is it going into 5th grade? But either way, all of our players will be involved and eligible to come and sign up for that. I'll show you how to sign up for that. We'll also show you how to sign up for FEL Youth Summer Football Camp and strength and conditioning as well. All right, Coach, I just wanted to have Coach Yeager say something first, and then I'll have Coach Hinkins say something. I just want you to know that both of these coaches, these are the head coaches of FEL and Xavier, they have been very supportive, very helpful in getting this program up and off the ground. And I'll pass it off to Coach Yeager right now.
Hi, everybody. First, I just want to say a huge thank you to Peter and his group of guys that have just done so much for this youth program. It's we found out that we'd have to adjust for our youth kids in the youth programs. Kind of looked at each other and, well, we're going to have to start our own team. It was really cool to sit in some of these meetings with all these gentlemen and look at each other and say, hey, we want the best. Regardless of where you're going to high school, we want the best for our players and for our future, for our programs. And as Coach Hinkins would agree too, we just looked at each other and said, if we want our kids to have fun, we want them to stay in football and enjoy it as much as we did as players and athletes. And we're excited at the opportunities that they have and to feed our programs going into the future. So we look forward to how this is all panning out. This is, again, compared to what it was a few months ago. Again, Peter, thank you so much for everything that you've done to make this possible. And like I said, all the supporters that are around us and football at both schools. So thank you.
Thanks, Coach. And thank you to you for all the support that you've given and the help in being our connection to the FEL side. Thanks a lot. Coach Hinkins?
Yeah, I'd just like to share my sentiments, same as Coach Yeager. To you, Peter, just huge thank you for providing experience for these kids to grow and play football this year. So I'm really excited for what you've done and your staff of guys, Jason, Kevin. Enjoyed meeting. Big thank you to Coach Yeager for bringing in the FPL. I know that you've spent a lot of time and effort to help make this football experience possible. So huge thank you to you. Nick Som, huge thank you for you for opening a door for us to give us an opportunity to play football. And just greatly appreciate it. You guys run an awesome league over there. We're lucky to be a part of it. So to a lot of people, there's a lot of time and effort that's gone into this. We're going to have an awesome experience for these kids. I'm excited with the leadership and what's happening and how we're coming together, both schools. And so very exciting on our end. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing the Saints play this year. So huge thank you to everyone that made this a reality.
And thanks a lot to you, Coach, for all the support that you've had and enthusiasm about getting this off the ground, helping me work with the Xavier and FEL sides to get things organized on the administrative side and get this underway. So, all right. So one word about this. We're, again, hoping that this is going to be all still in play. Coach Som, I just want to confirm, do you have any changes to this based on current events right yet?
No, we're really month to month at this point. We're obviously going to just monitor the health and safety and the recommendations for facilities, AASD, and obviously CDC and state of Wisconsin. And again, we've got to have faith and hope that we're able to get all this in, but we'll adjust. We'll make it work. Whatever we got to do, even if it's just one session or two, whatever it may be, we'll figure it out. And the best thing to do is get everybody signed up so they can get all this communication as we get it. We'll get it onto them.
Right. And right now we are planning on everything as scheduled. I have faith that we are going to be by summer, be able to do a lot of these things. And so we're going to plan on these dates. The 7-on-7 program is really a neat program that allows the teams to get together with their friends and have some friendly competition. And it's basically just a lot of fun that they have, but also can work on some football skills in the summer. So this is not a mandatory thing. This is a thing that we'll have people sign up for, and we'll have sign-ups. I'll make all this available to everyone so we can sign up as the dates get closer and dates solidified. But again, not a mandatory thing, but something that will be a lot of fun. So a great experience for the kids. Okay, so stay connected. Make sure to bookmark our website, www.foxvalleysaints.com. We also do have a Facebook page. We have a number of people already following that, probably about 70-some of you have already joined to follow that. All you have to do is search Fox Valley Saints on Facebook. You'll find us. Like it, because then you'll get notifications pushed to you. I will be updating everything on our website, but it's a little bit easier if you do have Facebook enabled, so that these can just push directly to your phone. You'll get an alert, and as soon as I have something, you'll know about it. And I'm going to update both these websites as we go. I'm going to now just go over to our website and show you what we got. For those of you that have not yet joined in or signed into the website or checked it out, this is I'm on the administrative website, but here we are. Basically, everything that you need to know is going to be here. Information about scholarships. If anyone has any If cost is a hardship for anyone, I want you to know that we will be able to help you out with that. All you got to do is contact foxvalleysaints@gmail.com. Folks in here. We do have a tax offer for everyone. We do have some donation that will go to the Saints program if you work with Liberty Tax. So that was a very nice sponsorship opportunity we got from Coach Anderson. Taxes are July 15th now, so we probably have a lot of people who still have them out. Become a sponsor. I'll show you some of our sponsors, and here's contacts with our coaching staff. A link to our Facebook page directly right here. And then our registration right here. All you got to do is click on this, and it will take you directly through the registration program. It's very simple, and it'll get it notifies me immediately. I will get you logged onto your team. All the information you need to know is right there about registering. So please register as soon as you can. The more we have your names on, as soon as we do, we can make planning. It'll make planning much easier for us if you just get signed up right away, if you're intending to sign up. Here I have our news and headlines. Anything that comes up, I will notify you at the top of the page here. And then if there's something new, a big headline that comes up, something that changes, I'll have changes there. Here we have our sponsors. You can see our sponsors at the bottom of our page. Thank you very much to Paul Meyer. This is my business. This is Fritz Finn, another business helping us out, and GP Schmidtke at Schmidtke Orthodontics for sponsoring our teams. Really going to be helpful in getting us off the ground, and anyone else who can help us out with sponsorships, much appreciated. We'll have details of that. Any sponsors that want to help us out will be noted in and announced at our games. We'll be in our game programs. We'll have banners up, and you'll be on our website as well. So not that you're doing it for that, but I know you're doing it for the good of the team and our players, but there will be some notice of that. You can go ahead and look on our teams and rosters. We already have many people signed up. This is our 8th grade team. You can see your friends that have already signed up here. Got a good number already on the 8th grade team, and a number that have signed up for 6th and 7th as well. Everything you need to link to is up here. We have our calendar, has all of our dates already populated in there that I've already showed you. We don't have game results, obviously. Required forms, you'll be able to get your health physical form. You can print it off right off the website. Concussion acknowledgement, we may have more forms, so you can wait on those until later as the season comes on. Here we have links directly to your school's football camps, strength and conditioning programs as well. You can just click there, it'll link directly to it. Sorry about that. Or for FVL, strength and conditioning program, it'll link you directly to that as well. So everything you need to know is going to be right on here. Please go on today and register. Also, I'll just show you real quickly here, our Facebook page. You can link to straight through here. And again, all of our events, we'll be posting photographs, maybe videos, things throughout the season. This is where our photographer comes in and is going to keep people aware and keep it fun here. Kids will have a great time seeing themselves online too. Okay, back to the meeting. That's about it, actually. So yeah, please register. Please tell your friends. You know, we have good numbers already signed up. The more the merrier. What I'd love to see is what's happened in the Appleton Youth Football Program, which is that teams, you know, in their first year, Coach Salm, you had, what, 18, 19, 20 at one or two of the levels, and now you've doubled or more of that, correct, over the last few years?
Yeah, we started out with 73 kids in our program. And then last year in Appleton, the 3 schools, we had 309. So at Appleton North alone, yeah, I think we average right around 125 kids at the 3 levels total.
Yeah, and that is what we're looking. That's what we're looking to build here. We don't have the number of kids that maybe you have at those schools, but we're planning to build a program here based on the fact that we're going to provide a program that's going to be excellent. It's going to be through your schools. We want you all to talk about what a program we have here, and get people interested. I know it's going to happen because we've got a great thing set up, and we're joining into a great program that's already been set up. So thanks a lot again. I can't say enough thank you to you, Coach Somm, for helping us out and getting plugged in here. But I know it's been a little bit longer than I was planning on, but I want to make sure we open up to any questions that anyone has. The coaches, questions for me, questions for our high school coaches, questions for Coach Somm, or our middle school coaches. Don't be shy. I can't believe I answered every question that you all have.
Brilliant.
Hey, Coach
I guess
Connie,
so.
this is
Yeah.
Carrie. Quick question. Is there availability for baseline concussion testing?
Yes. No, we've done that in the past, and we've done that at the middle school. And I can't remember the name of what it's called. Coach, you guys have done that at the public schools, correct?
Yeah, we don't do it in the middle school program. It is specifically a high school program because they don't feel that the test is accurate until you're about 15 years old. Coach Hankins, is that same as you?
We actually do it at the 8th grade level. We did it last year, so the 8th graders will be required to do that probably on that meeting we're having on the 23rd. We'll have them in the computer lab, and our athletic director last year required all the 8th graders to do that. So we'll have that set up as a part of what's going on near the end of the summer.
So I think that's great, and I'm glad that they could start to move it down a little further. But as far as I have heard, that the test is very inconclusive to the development of the brain and how they answer the questions at a certain age. And so,
yeah, I don't disagree with you, Coach, but I think it's a part of what Xavier does with our insurance. I think that it's required for us to do that for that.
I think it's great.
Okay. And that was, for everyone, that was Carrie Linsmeyer. She's our lead athletic trainer who will be helping us out. We'll have trainers at our games that'll be on the sidelines for any injuries or anything that comes up. Carrie is an amazing athletic trainer. I know she'll hit me next time I see her for saying this, but she really is top of the line, and so is everyone that helps out with her. Any other questions from any of the parents? Anything about the schedule or practices or?
Peter, there's a question in a chat box.
Oh, how do I get that? Oh, here we go. I got 7 questions. Thank you. All right. Wondering if this is a good fit for a 6th grader who has 0 football experience. He was a former wrestler, wants to see if football is the next step for a sports career in high school. Absolutely. This 6th grade, 7th grade, even 8th grade, we have a number of players who are new to football. And we are going to start with the very basics at every level. And we're going to build from there. And we're not out there we're not yelling at players. We're not scaring anyone on the football field. Again, our program is about positivity. It's about building football skills and relationships and foundations and teamwork. This is what it's about. And if you're a former wrestler, he knows contact. I'm sure he's going to do very well, or she. But Absolutely. If you are new to football, even at the 8th grade level, we have a number of people come out every year that are new. And Coach Anderson, I see you nodding there. I want you to maybe you have some thoughts about that as well.
No, now's the time. Middle school's the time to figure out if you like it and if it's something that you want to do. So we all the coaches coach every single level at every single talent level, experience level. We all can handle it. We're all used to doing that, and this is the time to go out and try it. So it's an emphatic yes. This is definitely something that your son or daughter should try in the middle school level.
Yeah. I have thanks, Coach. I have another question. Is there a plan yet for practice location? Yeah, as I mentioned, it will be at Xavier Middle School. All 3 levels will be playing. We have plenty of space for all 3 teams to practice at the times that I stated there. Another question, where do we mail the checks to? The checks are at this point, and it'll be right on the registration, that'll in the confirmation email you get, it'll have my address. Right now, because of the way that I got to collect these for the team, I have to make sure that we have checked off who's paid. And for the finance office, which is, I don't believe at full capacity right now, we're just sending to my house directly. It's Peter Kotz. I have people writing /Saints football, so I know to put it in a bin. And it's W3189 Center Valley Road, Freedom, 54165. And so, yeah, they can come right to me, but again, make the checks out to Xavier Catholic Schools with Fox Valley Saints in the memo so that it gets put to the right place. Thanks for the heads up, Coach. I didn't see that chat box there.
Hey,
All right, I think that's.
Hey, Peter, this is Chad. Real quick question. From a high level, can you briefly touch on the positions that the kids will be playing and exposed to? Are they going to be like assigned a position, or are they going to float around? How's that work?
Yeah, well, the way that we've worked this in the past, players will come in, we'll be able to assess everyone in the first week. We'll put in, players will put in their preferences for what position they'd like to play, and then we'll fit them in where they're going to fit best. And, you know, what one player plays, the position they play in one grade might not be where they play the next grade. It might be the position they're playing later on in the season. We may shift people around a little bit, but really for them to be successful, they're probably going to have to stay in relatively the same position throughout the season. Coach Anderson, I know you have a lot of, obviously you have some thoughts on this, I'm sure.
Number one, players need to play the position for safety. We can't put the smallest kid on the team on the line, generally speaking. So there's a variety of factors that are taken into consideration. Ideally, at every level, they learn to play an offensive position and a defensive position well. And we feel like if we do that, then we're doing our jobs, in addition to everybody being able to block and tackle with proficiency. Beyond that, every player is different, every team is different, every practice is different. So it's just something that it's our job to teach everybody as best we can and make sure that everybody's as safe as possible and has a good time. And we go from there. The number one thing that our coaches are going to do is communicate with your son or daughter, your player, and then also be able to, communicate with you if you have questions about that. But football is the ultimate team sport, and so it's important that everybody understand what their role is and plays together as a team. And from year to year, especially at the middle school level, people's physical size and ability changes significantly from year to year, and so that has to be taken into consideration as well.
Thanks, Coach Russ. Do you have anything further to put on that? I know you kind of have worked similarly to how we've done that.
I'm sorry, Peter, were you asking me? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Just if you had anything else to add on that.
Oh, no, perfect. I think Coach Anderson hit the nail on the head. That's what, in my position, the last 3 years in Pop Warner, each year, half of my team were new kids. So it gave me an opportunity to refocus on the basics. But good question. I do think safety is important. As Coach Anderson said, you don't want to put a small kid on the line, but we want to make sure that it's going to be a good fit for not just the individual, but for the team as well. It is a team sport, but safety that'll really help guide where we're going to put each player.
Yeah. Great. Good question. Thanks, coaches. Let's see. Anything else in the chat box? No, nothing else there. Anyone else have any questions that they want to chime in? All right. Well, hey, thank you very much. Thanks, coaches. Thanks, Coach Hinkins, Coach Som, Coach Anderson, Coach Rust, and everyone else that's joined in tonight. Thanks for giving us an hour on, on Holy Week here and everything. I appreciate you all taking the time and having the interest for the football program, but most of all for your kids.